to be honest, I was gobsmacked. I mean, I know I shouldn't have been because he's not been well off and on for quite a while, but for me, he was pretty indestructible. So I was, it really, it was kind of like a John Lennon moment, He was two people. He was Diego, who was lovely. I mean, you got time with him. He was just a little boy from the suburbs, from the slums of Buenos Aires. And then when he crossed that white line on the pitch, he was Maradona. He was the performer, and that was a completely different person. Both of them had enormous talent, one physically and one spiritually. It was a bit of a circus, to be honest, because he was a lovely boy and he couldn't say no to anyone. So you turn up at the house in Naples and there'd be, 35 people there and 25 of them talking to him at the same time. And there's so much information going in. It was like, can I talk to you about this? Yeah. So we go and we talk, and then as he's leaving you, he's going to join these other 35 people and they're going to say something else to him. And so it was just, it was a complete privilege to be part of it, but very difficult to manage it. I think he said to me like, and I followed him out. He went out. We went down into the garage under the house, and he opened the door. I know he knew he had the Ferraris there. And he had all these Ferraris parked up, and some of them were quite badly damaged. And he said, "Look, my new baby." And he showed me this new whatever it was. I'm not a huge Ferrari fan, but it looked very pretty. And I was up doing all the nice bits. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, amazing. And I said, "What's all this?" Pointing to the damaged ones. He says, "Oh, people, traffic lights." I stop. I have an idea. And between us, we and a few people locally, we managed to get hold of the head of the Napoli police force, so whatever his title was. And when we got him special dispensation to drive through red traffic lights, which actually probably wasn't that difficult because most people in Naples drove through red traffic lights anyway. But he couldn't because of who he was. So it was a moment. He loved me for that. Closest I could get, I think, is if you picked up Diego Maradona in his heyday and took him to Sunderland. And Sunderland started winning everything. And commercially, people like, I don't know, Honda, I think they may even be there, but some people like Honda started looking at Sunderland to go, "Oh, look at that, yeah, we should be part of this." And he regenerated that whole southern archipelago, if you like, of Italy was regenerated by this one man. On their crest of emotion. It's astonishing moments. So yeah, it was complete and utter unreality and mayhem, except it was real. I was fortunate. I had him from 86 through 87, 88, 89. They were pretty clean years. As it got into the 90s, there were a lot of local influences, shall we say. And that's when it was spinning out of control. So I was just really the first couple of years of that. And you could see he would train really hard Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or sort of Saturday because he was playing very often on Sundays. And the parties would go on from Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. And then he'd go back into this immense regime again. And he kept himself remarkably fit for someone who was actually quite stocky. He turned what was potential body fat into real omnipresent muscle. So that was quite an achievement. So it was only, I never really saw the physical degeneration until I met him some years later. And that was astonishing to actually see how he had degenerated. It was sad. Not only was he iconic, he was, in my opinion, the best footballer in the world, ever. I know Pele was great, and I was privileged to watch him, but that was a different time. he would give him more space and time on the ball, and he also inevitably where he played, he had a lot of flair players around him that helped to make him look even better. I mean, in Diego's teams, very often, not so much the national team, but certainly in Napoli, he was it. He was 9 of the 11 men sometimes. So he was astonishing.